It's a very exciting time because Stephen's getting a puppy tomorrow, so we're very distracted by puppy pictures, aren't we?
Yes, we are, yes.
Very exciting.
Rex,
Yeah,
boy.
we're just talking about when I can I can come up and visit. And I did think tomorrow, but the puppy's coming tomorrow, so I think that would be a bit much, really.
Yeah,
I'll let you settle in.
And basically, because me and my husband are off this week, which is a perfect time to visit, and you're not working until Friday. She says, I'm full of... I've got all these beauty appointments.
Got too many beauty appointments. Can't fit it into the schedule. But I will. I'll look at the diary and I'll get back to you on that one. But I do want to let you settle in as well. It's a very exciting time in the Dixon household. Yeah. Rex Dixon.
Yes, there we go.
He's arriving tomorrow. Anyway,
shall we talk to Claire Pearsall and Candy Salsworth, who are going to take us through the paper?
And they're also very excited, aren't you?
Yeah, they're very excited. Let's talk about diets, should we?
We should. And this is front page of the Mirror. It's regarding Knowsley, which apparently is a desert when it comes to the availability of fresh fruit and vegetables. Right. And I think it does... It's quite a stark issue, this, because nowhere should be without access to fresh fruit and vegetables, given the obesity crisis within this country, the health needs of communities. And I think that there is a really big part for governments to play, but there's also a part for local councils. And I've said this so many times about the ability to cook something from scratch, because I don't know about anybody else, but... I'm not the best at cooking in the first place.
No.
So, shockingly, I'm not that great.
Who does the cooking in your house?
Well, it is me. And I do have to learn how to use different ingredients and everything. And I have done that. But I look back to my mum, who used to create all of these really wonderful meals out of pretty much nothing. And always had a recipe and the ability to do so. And
you need your B-roll book and all that sort of thing. Mum always had a B-roll book, still got the B-roll book.
Yes.
Full of recipes.
Yeah, and I've inherited my mum's recipe.
Oh, that's nice.
Which is absolutely lovely, and some of her handwritten notes, which is beautiful.
Are you a decent cook, Candice?
Oh, yeah, I love cooking.
Oh, good.
Yes,
good.
very much so.
What do you make?
And I'm very into healthy cooking as well. But I think that's because when I was learning to cook, my parents were going through some massive health phase. So we ate so much healthy food when I was a child. And apparently, from what I know from doctors who know a lot about this stuff, they say that the foods that you eat as a child and a teenager often shape your preferences later on.
Yeah.
It's set very early in life. So I feel like it was good. I had that sort of food education at an early age. But it is so interesting with this story, though. I mean, why is obesity and poor nutrition associated with poverty? I mean, obviously, for almost the whole of human history, poor nutrition was not access to food. I mean, you were very underweight. But now it's the opposite problem, and I want to know what's going on there. Is there a problem with food culture, food education?
But is it
passed down generationally?
Because, I mean, you just made a point there about education. You've learned through your parents.
Yes.
And that's why you know how to eat healthily. So is that the issue here?
I think some of it is, but I also think it's the availability of access to shops. A lot of people in this area are not close to supermarkets. The public transport system isn't great. If you're buying a lot of fruit and vegetables, that's very heavy. If you've got to carry that back, you've got to get on 3 buses, you've got to walk. It is easier to get convenience food locally, microwave meals.
I think, do you know what, though? I think we're lazy.
Do you
I hate to say it, I think we're lazy because of all the stuff and you see them everywhere now, these Deliveroo and all these sort of things.
Uber Eats.
With people, and every time you go into if you pop in, because I do occasionally have a McDonald's or whatever, and there's a queue of people collected. We can't even be bothered to go to a McDonald's to buy it now. You have to have it delivered. And all I mean, that worries. I've never done it. Yeah. It worries me that so many people are doing that.
And I think convenience has become one of those things. We've all got very used to having everything delivered to us, everything immediately. And when you have to stock up and try and plan meals for a week, it's very difficult. And I do think the cost of living crisis probably comes into this. You're going to go and get cheaper foods which have a longer shelf life if you're on a lower income. And fruit and vegetable naturally will have a shorter shelf life. It is more expensive. So I think there's a lot that needs to be done. But I do think education, you can freeze some stuff, you can cut things up if you have access to a freezer. But again, if you've got people living in accommodation which doesn't lend itself to having a big freezer, you can't always have that. So I think that there is a lot that needs to be done with this, because it shouldn't be the case these days that people are going without fresh fruit and vegetables at all.
Yeah.
No,
It's so expensive, though, isn't it? Like a punnet of strawberries these days is like £3.50 or something.
Well, it is, but if you buy your basic veg, your potatoes and tomatoes, you can get it really cheap.
Yeah.
If I go and do that sort of shopping, I don't have to spend any money at all.
But it's amazing. I mean, you can. I mean, you can spend about £20 getting loads of stuff, lots of stuff. I think people just need to be aware of these sorts of things, like especially putting stuff together, being versatile, the things that you can pair with other things.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just stuff like that. But then you have to be used to cooking, and you have to be used to recipes, and you have to understand what's out there and what you can do. And
Comes back to education,
yes.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Let's have a look at this story about wild camping, shall we? Should we mix it up, Candice, in the Mail? No showers, no loos and no drinking water. How wild camping touched my soul.
See, I love this because that is the food critic, Tanya Gold, who always writes such amazing articles. And she was writing in the Mail this weekend about how she went camping on Dartmoor. And she saw the most beautiful ancient woodlands like Wisman's Wood. But one point she made, and it's actually very interesting because we're talking about food culture, is she was saying, you know, she felt very in touch with herself, with her body, with her health, with her well-being. And she said, you know, why have we lost touch with this?
But she doesn't want to do it again.
No, she was...
What's wrong with a woman?
I know. She was saying the problem is that they took canned foods to eat and, like, cook on the saucepan, and she absolutely hates that, being a food critic. She was just like, this is disgusting. But a lot of people just make do when they go camping, and they don't worry about it too much. But I just feel like that's what a lot of people are doing now. You know, when I speak to people about the sort of holidays they're having and the things they're doing, it often is going on a forest break or going out into nature. And I think that's so important about being healthy, and good well-being is about that, right? Like, not sitting at home ordering McDonald's on Deliveroo. It's getting out there, walking, you know, feeling like grounded within yourself, not constantly immersed in technology.
We benefit from... I mean, I know lockdown was a nightmare for an awful lot of people, but there was something about getting out and about, walking in the country and all that sort of thing, with our enforced one-hour walks and all that sort of thing. But I felt more connected to nature during lockdown.
And I think people did, you're right. Not everybody had the opportunity to do so, but we took our statutory hours walk out. But the weather was also good, and I think that makes a huge difference. And if we just look at the summer weather that we've had recently, it's not been the greatest. It doesn't encourage you to go out there and camp and get in the cold and wet.
No, we need to brave it, though, for the good of our souls, for the good of
Our
our
well-being.
souls. Yes. Claire, Candy, sorry it's been a bit of a short one, but we'll see you in the next hour. Look forward to it.
Got talking about food, that's what we do. Can't stop us. We're talking about the weather there with Claire. Let's get the weather now with Craig Snell.